This clip of the Texas Bucket List is brought to you by Spirit of Texas Bank and Slovacek Sausage. Howdy, and welcome back to the Texas Bucket List. Next up on the show, we headed on over to North Houston to check out a museum dedicated to, well, kicking the bucket. It may seem a little weird or a little morbid, but it's actually quite interesting and well worth a stop on the Texas Bucket List. When you first pull up to the National Museum of Funeral History, it almost feels like you're going into, well, a funeral. Even people who prepare to enter this place seem a little perplexed by its purpose.
That's so weird. I actually didn't know what to expect. I guess I was thinking of a bunch of caskets maybe.
We are a little deceiving, you know, from the outside. You wouldn't think that we have such a vast collection inside and such a well-preserved collection.
Genevieve Kinney is the president of the museum that was started by R.L. Waltrip.
Yeah. So this is the embalming table from Huntsville Funeral Home.
Founder of Service Corporation International, a company that owns and operates, you guessed it, funeral homes. Waltrip wanted to preserve the history of passing on and not see it get buried over time.
What do you do with an old embalming table? What do you do with old embalming tools? You know, nobody wants them. So it's kind of one of those things that people just threw it away because they didn't think that there was a place for them or a need for them any longer. So he saw this and he saw that our history was being thrown away, that which represented one of man's oldest professions.
From the history of embalming, a collection of crazy caskets, and celebrity funerals, the museum really covers every corner of the crypt.
It's a fascinating collection of what represents a funeral or what makes up a funeral.
Here you'll find a heckload of hearses from throughout time, and some that have a particular place in history. So out of all the hearses here at the Funeral Museum, this is one of the more popular ones, huh?
Yes, this is the Mercedes hearse that actually carried the body of Princess Grace of Monaco to the cathedral. It is a fascinating piece. So if you want to see the backside of the hearse and what it looks like on the inside, we'll just go ahead and open it up here and check it out. Yeah.
So this has got to be popular. It's the Presidential Hearse.
Yes, it is. It's actually the hearse that carried both Ronald Reagan and Gerald R. Ford in their California procession.
Interested in seeing something related to other historical and famous figures? Well, you'll have to check out the Thanks for the Memories exhibit.
We try and always keep the most recent people on display here. As soon as we get their memorial folder, we try and get it out. So basically you see we have all the memorial folders on display, and this is our most recent memorial folder that we have here is Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Wow.
Who unfortunately demised on February 2nd, 2014.
Just a few weeks ago.
Just a few weeks ago, yes.
So it's kind of connecting people's fascinations with celebrities as well as with death and then combining them into one and really bringing them together, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of nice because to actually see it sometimes is kind of closure for people who have grown up with these people. It's kind of like a reality punch.
Yeah.
You know?
That's your reality TV right there.
Yes.
Memorial folders aren't the only thing you'll find here. This is an actual part of Marilyn Monroe's grave right here.
Yes, it's actually the crypt front of her memorial. What happens is that they have to change it out regularly because people touch it all the time and they kiss it and it actually gets dirty. And this right here actually gets worn off. We asked if it could be donated to the museum for this exhibit and they said yes.
Want to remember that special celebrity in your life and take something home? Well, you can buy their death certificate. Nothing says happy birthday like a form dedicated to death. People really buy these.
Yes, they do. The most popular one is Walt Disney, believe it or not.
The presidential portion of the museum has interesting artifacts as well. Where else are you going to find JFK's eternal flame or an original Abraham Lincoln mourning ribbon? More into popes than presidents? Well, take a peek at the Papal Exhibit dedicated to the preparation and burial of the pontiff. It includes a few artifacts from Pope John Paul II, giving the museum an extra blessing.
We're thrilled to have items that are now actually items from a saint.
But there is one thing you won't find here.
Sorry, we don't have any dead people here. People are always asking us that question. It's got to be one of the most famous questions asked, but unfortunately we don't have that.
Unfortunately, I'd say fortunately. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So what is it about kicking the bucket that brings in the bodies?
There's a lot of people that fear death because it's the unknown. We always fear that in which we're not sure of. But then you've got those people out there that are really curious and fascinated as to what death is, what does death look like, what happens on the other side. So there's just this vast array of curiosity out there.
Most American culture is obsessed with avoiding death, and so this is kind of forces us to kind of take a look a little bit at death, and what actually happens when people die, and how do we treat it as a society.
If there's something you have to do before you die, you need to come see the National Museum of Funeral History, because it is the only one in the nation, and you'll only find it here in Houston.